Good evening, everybody. Market's not doing anything of any great resiliency, but it's just the obvious for us that as long as the indexes stay above the T-line, notice the Dow's staying up above the 3T line. But the added credibility of the uptrend is the fact that the NASDAQ opened at the T-line area and came up. That's just that much more evidence that they're not trading back below the T-line. And then the transportation index, same scenario. Kind of a double doji setup, which means if they open this positive tomorrow, we're still in an uptrend. Some of the commodities, like crude oil, trading pretty close to $66 a barrel again. Now, that might be bad for the gas tank, but it's probably pretty good for the market, kind of given an underlying factor that the economy is fairly good. That's why crude oil prices are heading up. We shorted I'm probably going to get it a little bit off base here, but just kind of we shorted live cattle today, mainly because you're up here just getting into the overbought area, and we had a hanging man doji, and it opened lower, so started shorting it. Now, when it opens lower and you want to see what it's going to do, once again, you flip to your 10-minute chart, and we stayed short. I think I covered it once here and then reshorted it here, because look what it was telling us. They couldn't get above the T-line. And then I covered it again here, waiting to go short if it failed, but you can see what happened on the close. So made good money on the way down. And even though it's still probably a short, when I was trading it today intraday, took profits down in this area because I knew it would probably bounce back up to the T-line, and then obviously you watch to see what it does at the T-line. So that still puts us in a situation where if it opens lower tomorrow, we'll reshort the position. But this is, again, based upon a very simple criteria. Getting up toward the overbought area, you had a hanging man, a doji, and opens lower, which was our simple rule. It's going to move in the direction of how they trade it after a doji. So it just allows you to have much higher probabilities of which way you want to be trading. We also shorted wheat. Because, let's make this smaller. You can see what type of pattern was setting up. It's kind of your dumpling top. And if you make it even smaller, you can see what you've got here. Wave 1, wave 2, possibility of wave 3, coming down to this trajectory. So again, knowing that they've stayed below the T-line, and then they did kind of a double doji sandwich, that and your stochastic's still heading down, one or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to support right in this area, which obviously we can see fairly well what it does at this area, and if it breaches this area, now you've got the prospects of another strong downside. So is that all? Gold. Gold still in kind of a downtrend. All right, so now what am I doing? Oh, we're looking at the stocks we were recommending. Riot, you can see what was happening here. There's that slow curve doji sandwich breakout. You could be buying this one. Still in an uptrend. Weibo, same scenario. You can see the slow curve. So we were, I think I recommended doing some spreads on this one for maybe the 75.80. I forget what I, but if this is wave 1, wave 3 should bring you back up into about this area. So, well, maybe it was a 72.77 for the week of May 3rd, which was, I think, about 11 trading days, 10 trading days. And the spread at $1.55 would go to $4.50, or basically tripling the money. Gosh, I don't know that answer. Only because I've never traded. Does anybody know the answer to that, whether there's an ETF for wheat? And then Cena would have executed today had it started trading back up above the 50. It's still viable. Which means if it comes up through the 200, giving you a bobble breakout after your big belt hold bullish engulfing, that means wave 1, wave 3 should bring you back up testing these levels. Again, these are high probability trade setups. And just to stick a commercial in here, this weekend we're going to be looking at the pattern setups, but we're also going to be applying the T-line, and we're going to concentrate on the T-line this weekend and how it enhances the analysis of the patterns, giving you a little bit of extra analysis or probabilities in your favor. This is HEXO. Look at how this came out of the chute here with your best friend Morningstar type signal, and then almost a trend kicker today, implying that we should be heading up into this area, another 15-20% to the upside. So again, notice what happened right here. Bounced off the 50, up through the T-line, scoop type pattern. Just makes it much more visibly recognizable. There's your big belt hold. There was kind of your breakout through this resistance level on ADVM. This being the catalyst, starting your next uptrend. And how big is your next uptrend? There's wave 1. There's wave 2. Look for wave 3 to be heading up toward the $9 area. Oh, an ETF for wheat. All right. WEAT. Oops. Okay. Wheat fund. All right. All right. Yes, you can short that. All right. Okay. Better start cranking through some of these. CTST, one of the weed stocks. Started out with a Morningstar signal. Didn't confirm. But now look what we've got. A piercing signal You got a morning star signal, piercing signal. Who you think is taking over? This can definitely be bought on positive trading tomorrow. CVM, another J-hook pattern in progress. Another one that can be bought on positive trading, especially if it comes up through that level. You know that wave 3 will be in progress. SMAR, get ready to buy this one. You had your little gap up, your consolidation. Now you're bullish engulfing after a hammer signal. What did it tell us about the 50? 50 is acting as support. Where's your next targets? Gap to fill, and then maybe wave 3. Odd is still working well. Stay long on this one. AXSM. Still staying up above the T-line, but giving you pretty much a good analysis setup. Doji today. So that tells us this has to open positive tomorrow. If it opens lower, what's it tell us about this trajectory? It's starting to disappear. Move on to something else. ELF. Notice that this is not a sell signal. Safety stop would have been here with the idea that if it sold off through that level, it's probably coming back down to the T-line. So if you held on to this one, you still have an if-then type scenario. If this opens lower, then you close it. It needs to open positive and trade positive tomorrow. This one, Logmein. Look at your kind of little confirmation. If this opens positive tomorrow, your next target is likely back up to the 200 or greater because of this big gap over here. And Sting, stay long. Well, once again, there's your doji. It needs to open positive tomorrow and tell us that we've got wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. If it backs off, it's still heading back down to the T-line area, kind of now making that bearish Harami more prominent. BC also needs to open positive. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. MDLZ, still in the running, but hasn't executed yet. But if it starts trading positive tomorrow, giving you a morning star signal off the T-line, coming out of a fry pan, you can be buying it. This gives you all the probabilities that things are moving in the right direction. ARQL, another one that has to open positive tomorrow and trade positive. You can see the little wedge forming. DFrog is a perfect example of the T-line being a crucial indicator. It's having a hard time that if this opens lower tomorrow, you close it out. This tells you it's not really going anywhere with any great conviction. So it has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. Now, some of the biggies are showing you confirmation. You can see where this one, Netflix, broke out today after the bullish Harami. That pretty much tells us our next target is probably up through the top. So you got some good upside on this one. High probability upside on this one. Facebook did a little scoop type Morningstar signal implying that it's going to have more upside. So trading these biggies, seeing how Amazon is still using the T-line as a support level. More upside. Apple, Same scenario. Use this T-line as a support level, still moving higher. So those are the good ones. NVIDIA, nothing there yet. Let me make these bigger. Now you do have a little left-right combo. If it confirms, more than likely, you are coming up to this resistance level, which means you're still heading for the 200-day moving average. Labu, trying to base in here. You can see how you got a couple of dojis in the oversold area. If it comes back up through today's high, that tells you they're bouncing it at least back up to the T-line, and then you see what happens from there. Tesla's still in a downtrend. See the downtrend. You can see that it kind of gapped down from a little spinning top. I would still think they're coming down into this trajectory. So again, you can figure out which ones to be going long and which ones to be going short based upon what the signals are telling you. Look at the nugget. Gold is still selling off. Ever since we did kind of an evening star gap down, notice that there's been no buying in the golds right now. Okay. We did those. Icon, still a $2 stock, but you can see the fry pan bottom breakout. That's a viable trade for those that you like to trade the lower price stocks. Now there's a lot of scoop patterns setting up. Fox for one. It comes up through that level. You probably have the probabilities of a good slingshot effect. Nomad. Look at your Morningstar scoop type pattern. This is 2+2. Bounce right off the 50 with a Morningstar signal, close above the T-line, and you're sitting right here pretty much at the breakout area. You can buy this one on Positive Trading. UPLD, scoop type pattern. You can buy this one on Positive Trading, expecting wave 1, wave 2, a scoop slingshot effect. Coming out of or going into wave 3. And does Twilio, did they announce, or are they announcing earnings? Another scoop type pattern Morningstar signal. If this opens positive, you can definitely be buying it. Okay, so going back to knowing that the crude oil prices are consistently moving higher, that just logic says, all right, take a look at some of the crude oil stocks. There's XOG doing a nice little fry pan bottom breakout. Anticipate more upside on this one. Whiting. Look at the kicker type signal. This one should probably come back up to the top of the trading range or higher, especially with the kicker signal. Oasis is another one that can be bought. The slow curve, look at your little best friend type signal breakout today. April 30, okay, thank you, Jay. I have this all. Did I do SM? Slow curve, get ready for this breakout. And SD, another one that's about ready to break out. So you look at your oil stocks tomorrow. So you probably want to have one or two of those in your portfolio, just based upon the fact that crude oil seems to be going higher, and especially with some of the political rhetoric. Now, here's a perfect example of knowing what each individual signal represents. You can see on Zine, when it topped out, where it was probably heading back to the T-line. Nothing real great as far as confirmation buying again. But you can see the doji, the hammer, the doji, the doji, the doji, pulling back right to the T-line. This should have been a visual alert to say, they aren't selling this off with any great strength. Get ready for the next move to the upside. So buying on today's trading provides a good prospect that you're now going to have another wave like this. Why was that alert so apparent? Because when they pulled it back, they did it with dojis, which kind of illustrated there wasn't a lot of selling pressure on that price move. Pro, kind of the same scenario. Big gap up, you're in the trend channel. Dismal, 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 boom, you're back up. Expect this to be in a 45-degree from here. So again, this is just identifying which stock setups are going to give you a high probability of continued upside. Left-right combo, gap up, look for a 45-degree off of MX. EYX. The alert came on Friday with the doji. If you had been short, where was the logical place to put your stop? Right there. In the oversold area, a doji, where was it the first target likely to be? At least up to the T-line. So again, this is just simple trading rules. If you see a doji in the oversold area and you're short, just put a stop at the high of the doji. Why does this one not come up? NBIO not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Rite Aid. Oh, this one's not quite. This one was a little bit bigger candle on the other charts, which would have. That's not near what the charts were on the other system. MIBO. Yes, thank you very much. There's your message. Big gap up, sell off. Doesn't look good. But the message was there was a big gap up. So watching to see when the profit taking over, which apparently it is. Look for the uptrend to continue. Okay, CGC, one of the there's your message. There's telling you almost with a trend kicker that the strength is still in this one. You can still be buying this one based upon your inverted hammer, bullish confirmation. Now look for more upside, especially if they break out through this area. And that was why our CTST looks good because of the Morningstar signal, belt holds, stochastics coming up. If this trade's positive, you're seeing the reversal signals occurring right now. Rent-A-Center. Look for a 45-degree. What do you got going on here? Your doji sandwich gap up, implying more upside. ADTN, look at your trend kicker breakout of a fry pan bottom, still more upside. Now, on a big move like this, if they'd opened it lower and traded it lower, it lost its energy. So you don't buy back in until it comes back up through this level. If it opens positive, obviously you stay long, and you put your sell stop at where it closed. As long as it stays above that level, there's going to be more upside. There's a nice fry pan bottom on CDEV. You stay long on this one. You can even be buying this one, because look where you are right now. Right at the breakout or the gap area. So it could have a quick run right up back up to this level, giving you about a 20% upside. Let's see. Put this one up here just to show. Where this broke out. Came up into the recent tops. So if you were long this because of the T-line, now you have your safety stop right here. Because either this is the blow off at the top, but more than likely, this is the breakout going into a new wave at this point. HIIQ, this one's setting up. Doji, spinning top, doji, doji, close right at the T-line. Makes this very simple. If they open this one positive tomorrow, you can start buying. GEHX. J-hook pattern. Coming out of this big fry pan bottom. There's kind of your breakout. Move this. I'd be a buyer of this one because of the T-line crunch breakout through the 50. And pump. Again, these are the type of things we're going to be showing on the weekend training. If you've got something like this, you pretty much can stay long until you see a sell signal and a close below the T-line. Would this have been a closeout? The longer this trend stays in existence, the more you give it credibility to stay an extra day or so to see if they're actually closing below the T-line. Now, if I'd closed out here, I would have been buying back here. Why would I buy back in an uptrending stock? Because it's been telling us for months that the T-line was continuing to act as a support level. Okay, a couple on the short side. This is based also upon the T-line. Notice you're bearish engulfing, and then a close back below the T-line. That was telling you there's a lot of selling pressure. Now, these are the type of situations where is this heading back to? Well, we know we've still got a lot of juice left in the stochastics. But if you put your Fibonacci retracement numbers on, it didn't support at the 38, so now you watch the 50 and the 61. Not that it's going to go there, just so we got beneficial, we've got the benefit of being able to watch to see what happens at levels that everybody else is watching. In RDUS, bearish engulfing. Now, is that a high important signal? Well, you want to see confirmation. However, the fact that it reversed right about the same level that it topped out before gave you the added evidence that that's where the selling was starting. Now, where do you think it's moving to? at least back down to one of these moving averages. There's a wee little teeny gap right there. So we're going to be going extensively in how to use the T-line. We had a nice bullish signal here. But when they gapped it down and closed just below the T-line, what did we need to see the next day to keep us in this position? It needed to open positive. When it opened lower, you closed out the position. Because that told you that once you close below the T-line, the probabilities get pretty strong, or are pretty strong, that you're going to be going in a southerly direction. So if I was long this one, anticipating an uptrend, and they gap it down and close it down here, you close it out. That's Yeti. We were long Axle until the bearish engulfing signal and the close below the T-line. So the T-line just improves the probabilities of knowing which way. Why is that not working? E-N-A. Now, what was the warning to start looking for profit taking on this one? Got a nice fry pan bottom. What was the warning? Look how they gapped up in the overbought area. That's where you start looking for sell signals. American Airlines. Kind of an evening star. They didn't confirm. Now what have they done? Another doji gap down. I would have closed out this position today. First of all, you can see that the uptrend is over. There's no reason to be long on this one with the sell signals that we can identify. And Zixi, same scenario. There's your hanging man in the overbought area. When it opened lower the next day, which was Thursday, where do you think the first target was going to be? Right there. So why stay in it? It might not support and bounce back up. Close out the position and see what it does here. Okay, I'm getting a private message. This weekend, we are going to be looking at all the signals and patterns that we normally do, but we're going to be looking at them now with the emphasis on the T-line. We're also going to be using the T-line to show how you improve the probabilities of entering a good trade immediately and exiting a trade immediately based upon what the trend is doing at the T-line area. So that's why my strongest or my most poignant, strong graphic or PowerPoint slide is, what is the T-line? It's basically the Fibonacci characteristic of a support and resistance level of human nature. And when you combine that with candlestick signals, the combination of the graphics of a candlestick signal and its relation to a natural support and resistance level like the T-line just gives you an extremely high probability trade analysis. So if you learn how to use those two in conjunction with each other, you're going to dramatically improve the probabilities of profitable trading. What advice for people not at the monitor during the day, but in a buy stop to trigger a long? What do you do if it comes back down through during the day? Has to wait for the evening to put in a sell stop? No. Each day you should be able to analyze where it should not trade. Now, if I was long American Airlines today, and I'm having to head to work, I know it has to move positive. Where would be the place that would tell me I wouldn't want to see it trade down through the low of Thursday. Because if it's moving in that direction, it's not trading positive. So, like anything else, the less time that you have to put watching your trades, obviously, you've got to be a little bit more, give a little bit more leeway. So there's just a very simple process for putting in stop losses, which I call safety stop losses. Let's see, I can't even remember which ones I was looking at to. Yeah, there's always something that allows you to say, all right, I'm long, did a doji on Thursday, my safety stop is right here. And these moving averages are the exact, this chart right here is the exact same as this chart right here, soybeans. Same moving averages, same T-line, same stochastic. Can you short American Airlines? You can if it opens lower, yes. So you've got your dojis, you've got your evening star signal. If it opened lower, you can short it, and then you know what your sell stop would be. It shouldn't come back up through the 50. The uptrend is pretty short-lived once it's above the 50-day moving average for these airline stocks. What usually happens is when they come up through a resistance level, they'll come back and test it to see if it's going to act as support. So it wasn't the fact that they were having a hard time once they got through the 50. It's just normal human nature to take profits and then see if the resistance level is going to act as a support level. Nimrod, it's whatever time frame you want to be trading. Now, I usually trade off the 10-minute chart. If I didn't have as much time to watch what was going on, the dollar, I might use the 15-minute chart because it's a slower mover. But what you can do, because each chart is the same for any time frame, you pick out the time frames you want to trade, how active you want to trade during the day. Hang on to your individual ones until I tell Jim to do the double line. When you enter your trades, do you put advanced stop orders in? And do you use a certain time of day? No. If I'm buying a position or shorting a position, today when I knew I should be shorting this, I knew when it gapped down and started trading down that I'd probably put my stop up here. Because logic says if it came back up through there, it wasn't staying down below the T-line. Now, if I'm sitting here watching it, I don't have to put a stop in. Because if I see it down here and then I see it start coming back up, as soon as it gets close to that area, if it ticks through that, I close it out. Now, if I was going to go off and play golf or weed the garden, whatever, and it was trading down here, yeah, I'll say, all right, let's put a buy stop here. It shouldn't come back up through that level. This is, we are going to be recording this weekend like we always do. So if you can't make it, just pay for the session. You'll get the recording. The only disadvantage is that if you have questions, you just won't be able to ask them live right at that time. But because of our accessibility to the chat rooms, if you record the session and you have a question, just come into this during the chat room and say, "Oh, I was seeing your idea on such and such. How do you answer that, or what's the answer to that?" So you just have to be delayed on your answer. Okay. I guess, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. I thought for a minute my screen had gotten stuck. MDB. Whoops. You stay long. Wouldn't necessarily be a buyer here, but if I was long, I would stay long. Did you do the second double line, Jim? Stop this. Oh. Trade desk. Another one where you can see the fry pan bottom setting up. This has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. ENLC, you stay long. Use the T line as you stop. You can see, check your volume. No, this is goofy. Sorry about this. We're going to have to start over, aren't we? Let's start again. MDB. That's completely different. Nothing yet. If you're short, you stay short, but if it opens positive tomorrow, close out your short position. It'll be obvious that the 50-day moving average was acting as a support level. And the trade desk Morningstar scoop type pattern, get ready to buy. You can see how they kind of broke this little downtrend. I would suspect your next target is up in this area. ENLC, you can buy this one on the same idea. The gap up, breaking out through this resistance level, pretty much bouncing off the 50, making the 200 your next likely target. Rambus, stay long. Use Fridays, Thursdays open as your stop. If it comes down through there, it's coming back to test the T-line area, profit taking. Little breakout, you stay long on this one until you see a sell signal. Chevron, not a great trader. That tells me, Neil, I'd be someplace else. Conoco, kind of the same scenario. You're still in this junky stage, and there's not really any great buy signals in that area to tell you to be in it. Oracle, all you can do here is stay long as it stays above the T-line. It's just a very slow mover. Alaska Air, you should be out of because of kind of the trend kicker to the downside. If you stayed long, it has to open positive tomorrow. Otherwise, it's coming back to test the 50 to see if that resistance level is now going to act as support. Foot Locker, stay short. Little hanging man, close below the T-line, 50 dip hold. I'd now watch to see what it does at this level. Quote, nothing. Wouldn't be long or short this one. There's no direction. Chipotle, if you're short, very simple. If it opens positive tomorrow, you close out your short. If you're thinking of going short, I'd probably short it if it came down through today's low. Otherwise, you're still hovering right around the T-line. Valero, stay long. Wouldn't necessarily be buying here, but if I was long, I'd just stay long. Did trade Haynes. Has to open positive. You don't have a sell signal. So if it opens lower, you close it out, anticipating they're coming back to test the 50 again. WD, just stay long. Safety stop at today's open. Wix was doing a nice fry pan bottom. Now you've got kind of your cup and handle. I'd be a buyer on this one on positive trading tomorrow. The Qs, stay long. We did Alaska Air Fun. Fun kind of had the steam knocked out of it. Let's get rid of all the... Nothing here right now. Never really confirmed in here. I wouldn't be long or short. Oops, hold on. Delta has to open positive. I wouldn't be long or short right now, but I'd be ready to go short if they open this one lower tomorrow. I'm guessing the airlines are probably selling off because crude oil keeps moving up. CNC, if you didn't close it out today and you're short, it has to open lower and trade lower. If it trades positive, you've got a bullish doji sandwich. Probably taking you back up to test the T-line. Oh, CNC early earnings in the morning. All right. Crone, get ready to buy on positive trading. Bullish engulfing signal today. Square. It just doesn't have a good enough chart. If you were short, I would have covered the short position today with the bullish engulfing signal. Lowe's, another one you can get ready to go short on a lower open tomorrow. Bearish doji sandwich makes the 50 your likely target. Medtronics, if you didn't stop out today, use today's high as your stop if you're short. What you want to see is it open lower. If it trades back up above today's high, you can see the hammer and then the bullish confirmation after that. Now, nothing of any great magnitude here. Probably not until you break out. Just a nothing chart. Macy's, wouldn't be long or short this one. No direction. Did we do quote? Looks familiar. Quote, wouldn't be long or short. No direction. Let's see, we did now. Apple, you stay long. As long as it stays above the T-line. CNC, we did. Get ready to cover this if you're short. Did trade desk. BBY. This one you shouldn't be long. You can possibly be ready to go short on weakness. You can see how it's failed at the T-line. Bed Bath & Beyond. You stay short as long as this stays below the T-line. Shopify. You stay long on this one. Notice your little morning star signal that's supported on the T-line. Stay long. Your safety stop should be at today's open because you're in the overbought area. Micron is a nothing chart. No directions. You're still stuck in the wedge. You stay out of this one. Now, if you're long, you can stay long, but you can see how you're in a wedge formation. It really doesn't have any great strength one way or the other right now. What is that? QUOM. QUO. That's that one, Jamel. I use the 10-minute chart, when I'm trading intraday. That's kind of my bellwether chart. But that's basically for the time frame that I trade. Match, you stay long. As long as this stays above the T-line. The SOX, just stay long. Safety stop at today's, if you're trading this, safety stop at today's low. After the gap up, if it comes down through here, it's heading back to the T-line. Netflix broke out through the downtrending resistance level right here. You stay long on this one. $3D, nothing. Wouldn't be long or short. SE, this one you can get ready to buy in the little morning star signal on positive trading. And VHC. If you like it, you can be buying it. Just nothing real great as far as direction right now. I don't know what Qualcomm's symbol is. The SPY, to stay long as it stays above the T-line. Deer, stay long also. But I'd use today's low as a stop, because if it comes back down through there, it's having a hard time getting out through this level, coming back to test the T-line. MasterCard, just stay long. Notice how it used the T-line as a support where it opened today. Not a great chart here. If you were short, you definitely covered it today. I don't know whether I'd necessarily be going long, because you don't really, You could buy this one on strength. It just wouldn't be the best one. I have heard the term price action. Bruce, I don't know. Would you include the pattern information into some would refer to as market structure? I don't even know what that means. I just look at the patterns and I look at the individual stock or the daily signals to tell me what's happening to that chart pattern. So, for example, if I see a fry pan bottom, and then I see a trend kicker breaking out, that tells me my pattern is breaking out. AR, observe the obvious. Absolutely no direction at all. I could have my money someplace else. There's QCOM. All right. Big breakout. Earnings, I'd look for a 45 degree. Again, it will be a function of how they open this tomorrow. YPF. Yes, a bobble that never confirmed. So right there, if you had bought on that day, what did the price need to do? Needed to move positive. The fact that they closed back below the 200, which was the breakout level, what'd that tell you? They weren't breaking out. You should have been out immediately. So I point these out because there's times where I look back and say, oh man, I got out way down here. What I learned was, all right, where was my safety stop up here? Well, right there would have been a logical place. So the best form of education is looking at your own trade, thinking, all right, I got out at the wrong level. Where should I have gotten out? Got kind of a fry pan bottom on CBM. This one you can be buying on positive trading, just as long as it stays above the T line. Yep, another one that looks absolutely sideways. I'd be someplace else. Here was your breakout point, but you did a bearish engulfing signal that told you couldn't be there. Okay, as long as this market stays above the T line, we're in an uptrend. So there's lots of good-looking charts out there, things that are setting up right now that gives you high probability trade setups. HIIQ looks like a cradle pattern setting up. Okay, mark your calendars. This weekend is going to be a concentrated analysis of applying the T-line. I could take all these charts and take everything off other than the T-line, and I'd T-line and stochastics. I would be in the trades with a high degree of probabilities. All right, everybody, have a good evening. We'll see you bright and early in the morning. We'll see you then.